Love my old hockey cards. They're full of history, and oftentimes they're full of things you've never noticed until now. Hi, I'm Ken Reid, and welcome to another edition of Hockey Card History, now presented by Tim Hortons NHL Trading Cards, available in restaurants right now. Now, I admit it, I love looking through boxes and boxes of old hockey cards. Not to search for cards that might be worth a ton, but just to look and see that history on the card and see if there's maybe something I've never noticed before. Case in point, Rogie Vachon, 79-80. Rogie resembles entertainer Sonny Bono, and he really does. Now on the front, Rogie's got the standard brown pads of the day, the standard Vic stick, but for some reason, and I don't know why. Now keep in mind today, NHL uniforms have to be color-coded and all that. But back in the day, his backup goalie is wearing a yellow Jofa hockey helmet with a face mask. Yellow Jofa, yellow does not go with the color of the Detroit Red Wings. So I've always wondered, who is that goalie in the background? I've done a little research, could never find the answer. So that's something I bet you didn't notice. The backup goalie, yellow helmet. Who is he? Please let me know. Hockey Hall of Famer, member of the Big Three, number 5 for the Montreal Canadiens, Guy Lapointe, wearing Guy Lafleur's number 10 on his 1971-72 O-Pee-Chee. This is Lapointe's second ever hockey card. Now, back in the day, hockey cards, they were much more innocent. You came off the ice if it was after practice. They snapped your photo, you left. If you had on your practice jersey, they'd throw you a jersey. Most likely, Mr. Lapointe just threw on the number 10 they gave him. His number 5 retired by the Montreal Canadiens. Guy Lafleur's number 10 retired by the Montreal Canadiens. But for some reason, Guy is wearing Guy's shirt on this 71-72. A little something I bet you never noticed, because, I mean, look, this is a Bill Armstrong 1991-92 O-Pee-Chee top prospect card. Bill Armstrong played one game in the National Hockey League, but Bill Armstrong has left a lasting legacy within the game of hockey. What is it? Well, it's this. We all freak out when we see a lacrosse goal. I garner that Bill Armstrong was the first to ever do it in a pro game. A lot of people call it the Michigan goal. Mike Legg scored for Michigan in the NCAA tournament in 1996. Well, interesting story, the night before that goal, Bill Armstrong also scored a goal like that, but the footage was so bad it couldn't make it onto TV. And to make the story even more interesting, Mike Legg and Bill Armstrong used to train together in the summers in London, Ontario. Legg saw Armstrong doing the lacrosse thing. Armstrong gave him a few tips. Legg shoots to fame. Armstrong just keeps doing the lacrosse thing, scored 4 lacrosse goals in the AHL, 4 lacrosse goals in the IHL, and ended up with this hockey card and 1 game played in the National Hockey League. Armstrong, he could snipe, and I'm telling you, if they had quality camera work and HD back in the day, you would have known of the name Bill Armstrong long before right now. Tony Esposito, Hockey Hall of Famer, Tony Esposito, innovator. Love this 81-82 O-Pee-Chee of Tony because you get a great look at the mask. This is a mask he wore for pretty much his entire NHL career, but if you look really closely, you can see the work on the mask. Tony actually put a cage over his eyes because he kept getting dinged around the eyes, and I like to think that this is the mask that led to the one we see nowadays, the fiberglass cage combo that pretty much every goalie in the National Hockey League wears. And Tony Esposito, this is a guy who used to take a hacksaw out into his garage to a cage so he could put it on a mask. He used to put webbing between his pads before they outlawed that. So Tony Esposito, total innovator. Take a close look at this 81-82 O-Pee-Chee, and you can see his handiwork, and you can see kind of the beginnings of what we see on so many goalies nowadays. When you talk about the most explosive goal scorers of the National Hockey League back in the 1970s, you have to talk about Guy Lafleur. Le Blanc Diamant, storming down the right wing for the Montreal Canadiens.
Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to Lafleur.
Oh, this stuff writes itself. If you watched hockey in the 70s, you know Guy Lafleur, dominating right winger. But if you look at this 75-76 O-Pee-Chee, Guy Lafleur listed as defense. In the words of Ivanka Osmak, what the what? Now, why was he listed as a defenseman? No one knows, and that includes Guy Lafleur, who actually talked about this for one of my books, Hockey Card Stories 2. That's a plug. He has no idea why he was listed as a defenseman. I have no idea why he was listed as a defenseman. Maybe a researcher was watching one night and Scotty Bowman put Guy Lafleur back on the point for a shift on the power play in 1975. No idea, but on the back of this card, you can see Guy scored 50 goals in 74-75. That'd be a great accomplishment for a defenseman in any era. But yeah, one of the greatest goal scorers of all time. For me, the greatest goal scorer of his generation, listed back on D. Okay, sometimes hockey cards can be a little confusing. Take, for example, 79-80 O-Pee-Chee, Dale McCourt. Bet you never noticed that he never played for the LA Kings, despite what this hockey card may tell you. Airbrush job by the O-Pee-Chee hockey card makers. Can you blame them? This is a deal. Late 70s, Detroit signs free agent Rogie Vachon. An NHL arbitrator rules as compensation for the Kings that McCourt is going to go the other way to LA. So he's awarded to the Kings, so O-Pee-Chee says, okay, McCourt's a King. They airbrush him. No, McCourt sues the NHL, never ends up playing for LA, stays in Detroit where he's a teammate of Rogie Vachon, who, as we noted earlier, looks like Sonny Bono. McCourt eventually traded to the Buffalo Sabres, but never played a game for the LA Kings, despite the appearance of this 79-80 O-Pee-Chee. Bet you didn't notice. Now here's a strange one. Maybe you have noticed this, maybe you haven't noticed this. Phil Esposito, complete and total sniper, 71-72 O-Pee-Chee. Just think of opening a pack of Phil back in the day. 76 goals the previous season. No one, scored like this guy did, late 60s, early 70s. But there is one little thing about this card. Phil's told me about it. Phil's wearing slacks on this card. He's not wearing hockey pants. He's wearing slacks. He also has on number 17 gloves, despite the fact he's number 7 for the Boston Bruins. So why is he wearing slacks for this hockey card? Well, it's as simple as this. The hockey card photographer shows up. They say, Phil, here's a jersey. He doesn't have his pants off. He's Phil Esposito. He doesn't care. Puts the jersey on, does his pose, moseys on out, and 50 years later, there's a guy like me on the internet talking about how Phil Esposito, Hockey Hall of Famer, is wearing slacks on a hockey card. Bet you didn't notice this. Johnny Bauer. Had the thrill of meeting Johnny Bauer a couple times. What an absolute gentleman. Of course, he had that epically long minor league career in Cleveland. Started his NHL career with the New York Rangers. This is his Parkhurst rookie card that I'm lucky enough to own. It's from 1954, 1955, and what I bet you never noticed about this one is on the back of the card, his name is Johnny Bauer's, plural. Why? Don't know. On the front, if you look at his signature, maybe you're thinking that's an S after the R, but there was so much confusion about Johnny Bauer early in his career. People always debated what his actual birth date was. But yeah, Johnny Bauer's on this card. So if you were a kid and you ripped this card open back in the mid-50s, you got a card of Johnny Bauer's. And Johnny Bauer's, of course, went on to fame, a Hall of Fame career, Stanley Cups with the Toronto Maple Leafs as Johnny Bauer, one of the greatest gentlemen to ever play in the National Hockey League. Started, at least as far as the people at Parkhurst were concerned, at Johnny Bauer's. And now you know. Thanks for watching this edition of Hockey Card History presented by Tim Hortons NHL Trading Cards. Be sure to watch more episodes right here and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any new episodes. I'm going to open this pack. Come on. Crosby. McDavid. Ooh, Canvas Leon Draisaitl. And the always reliable Drew Doughty. See you next time.